the step-by-step plan to get absolutely ripped, absolutely shredded, absolutely lean, absolutely diced before summer, okay? This is exactly what you guys need to do to get that lean, shredded physique right before summer. This is exactly what I did last year before summer to get to that lean, shredded look, that movie star look, that woman adore that everybody really seems to like. And so I want to help you guys out get to that phase as well. And now that I did this already, I have a lot of clarity. I have a lot of vision on exactly what I need to do before that May, June, July, August time comes around, okay? So we really want to be hitting that lean, that target physique, that target body by around Memorial Day weekend. That is just the perfect time for you to be absolutely diced, absolutely lean, okay? So that is going to be our target, and we're going to work our way up to that. And there's 3 different areas that we're going to get into, okay? So gym, diet, lifestyle. Boom, boom, boom. These are the 3 areas that you need to focus on, pay attention to, because these are the 3 things that are going to make up your physique, make up how you feel, make up your energy levels, make up basically every single function that you have as a man, okay? So we are going to break down exactly what you need to do in these 3 categories, these 3 areas, so you can get absolutely ripped, absolutely diced, absolutely shredded before summer. So the very first category when it comes to getting ripped and lean before summer is going to be the gym. It's going to be what you do inside the gym and specifically how you train. A lot of people that you see in the gym, they are training the wrong way. They are not prioritizing certain muscle groups. They are not lifting the right way, okay? So I'm going to break down how you guys can actually do the correct things in the gym so that you see optimal results and so you can actually get ripped and lean and shredded by summer, okay? The gym is important, but these 2 things are going to be more important, but how you train in the gym is super important as well, because ultimately how you train is going to be the type of physique you develop, like what exercises you're doing, what muscle groups you're hitting. And so what you want to be doing in the gym to have a nicer looking physique, a more aesthetic physique, to be more ripped, to be more lean, to be more shredded, is focusing on the aesthetic muscle groups, which is point number 1, okay? Aesthetic muscle groups are basically going to be anything that makes your body look more attractive, okay? And when it comes to the aesthetic physique, it's basically going to be a 1.6 to 1 shoulder to waist ratio. Now, the 1.6 is all about upper chest, wider back, shoulders, obviously triceps and biceps, and then abs, and then having a lower body fat percentage, okay? The best range to be in terms of body fat is going to be around 10 to 15%, but don't go too crazy. Don't get too low, but under 10, because that's not really healthy. And additionally, you probably look a little bit better with a little bit more body fat at that 10 to 15 range. Now, optimal would be 10 to 12, but 10 to 15 is good. So aesthetic muscle groups, and then we want to be training these muscle groups 2 times a week, okay? 2 times a week. So you want to be going to the gym about 5 times a week. And you want to have 2 rest days, okay? For so long in my life, I was going 6, 7 days a week, never resting, and it really, really showed in my cortisol being high, my stress being high. And now when I go just 5 days a week, do each muscle group twice a week, my cortisol is lower, and then also I'm giving my muscles more time to rest and recover so they can actually grow back stronger, right? When you're in the gym, your muscles are breaking down. That is not when your muscles grow. In the gym, your muscles break down and you get that pump, but outside of the gym, when you are resting, when you are recovering, when you are relaxing, is when your muscles grow back stronger, right? When you're in the gym, your glycogen breaks down. You are using your energy and your body to move and to develop your physique. And so you are breaking down your muscles and your glycogen stores need to be replenished. And that happens outside of the gym. Okay. So that is when you get stronger, is actually outside the gym. So having 2 rest days a week is very, very important, but hit each of these muscle groups twice a week. That includes legs. Okay. So legs twice a week too. We are not skipping legs because legs is high test. If you want to have higher testosterone, hit legs. If you want to be more shredded and lean, hit legs, because when you hit legs, you are increasing your testosterone. You are forcing your endocrine system to produce more testosterone, which in turn is going to help you build more muscle and burn body fat quicker, okay? Because your testosterone is higher. So hitting legs is one of the best things you can naturally do to increase your testosterone. So we are not skipping legs. In order to have an aesthetic physique, balanced legs are very, very important, so I hit those twice a week, okay? So, aesthetic muscle groups, upper chest, wide back, shoulders, arms, abs. Those are the aesthetic muscle groups. Traps is a good muscle group as well. So that's what we want to be focusing on and prioritizing. And how you prioritize those things is by doing certain exercises, and specifically exercises that are going to isolate and stretch these muscles. Okay, so you want to focus on exercises that are going to isolate and stretch. Not heavy compound movements, although I do think you should add a few compound movements into your workouts so you are still forcing your body to really exert a lot of force and a lot of energy so you can increase your testosterone levels, right? But outside of that, outside of the compound movements, you want to be focusing on the aesthetic muscle groups, the upper chest, the wide back, the shoulders, and the arms. And how you do that is through certain exercises. And the very first one for your upper chest is going to be an incline dumbbell bench, okay? This is going to be a very, very good one because, again, it is all about the contraction and the isolation, okay? Incline dumbbell bench press is going to be one of the best exercises you can do to get that stretch, to get that isolation, and to actually develop an upper chest, right? For so long, I was doing incline barbell bench press, and yes, it's a good one, but I feel it in my upper chest way more just doing dumbbell bench press, okay? And you want to be doing about 8 to 12 reps here. Make sure that it's, a difficult and challenging weight, but make sure you are controlling the weight on the way down, exploding on the way up. That is the most important thing, right? If you can't control the weight on the way down and you can't explode on the way up, go lower. Put your ego aside. If you actually want to feel the weight, you should be able to control it and explode on the way up, okay? So focus on that eccentric, coming down slow, and then on the concentric, exploding on the way up, okay? So incline dumbbell bench is the very first thing that you want to be doing for your upper chest. Next thing is going to be pull-ups. Pull-ups, again, is one of the best exercises for a wide back. Especially when you're doing wide grip pull-ups, you are getting wide and you are getting out there, and then you are developing that 1.6 to 1 ratio, right? That is how you do that, is by developing your wide back and also your shoulders. But pull-ups is an exercise you guys can do literally every single day as a warm-up. Every upper body day that I have in the week, I do pull-ups as my warm-up because it's an easy way to warm up my body. I get that wider physique, and it's just such a good exercise to get the workout started, to get a pump going, to get the blood flowing, okay? So start your workouts with pull-ups, right? If you don't know what kind of warm-up to do a little stretch, do a little this, do a little that, and then do pull-ups, okay? Pull-ups is going to be a great way to warm your body up and then develop that wider physique. And if you're doing them every day, your back is really going to grow and you are going to get wider and you are going to have an aesthetic physique just off pull-ups alone, okay? So pull-ups is going to be a major one you guys should be hitting almost every single time you are in the gym, because you can do it every single time, right? You can do it every single time. You'll be fine. No worries there. Do it as a warm-up. Develop that wider back. And I touched on shoulders, but the key shoulder exercise, again, 1.6 to 1 ratio, right? And how you get a 1.6 to 1 ratio is by getting wider. So pull-ups is a great way to get wider, but another great way to get wider is one-arm lateral raises, okay? Side lateral raises are going to be the best shoulder exercise in my opinion, because we are getting that isolation and that stretching, right? That is what you guys need to be focusing on when you want to have this aesthetic physique, is isolating and stretching, okay? That is how you get the aesthetic physique. And side lateral raises are a great way to get a wider physique, get bigger shoulders, and then also to develop your traps. Like when you're going up, you're hitting this delt right here, and then when you're coming down, you are almost hitting your trap and your outside shoulder right here, okay? So it's very, very essential to do this exercise every single shoulder day. Next thing is going to be arms, and you guys kind of know that, but I think one of the best arm exercises are going to be an alternating dumbbell curl. So this is something where you just get an incline bench like so, and then you are literally just alternating the dumbbell curls. Now you can do a variation where you kind of have your elbows out like this. I forget exactly what that one's called. I think it's a spider curl, but alternating dumbbell curl. And then in terms of triceps, I would just do a V-bar push down, okay? These are going to be the best arm exercises. You don't have to overcomplicate arms, but incline dumbbell curl is a great way, alternating curl is a great way to isolate and stretch. Isolate and stretch, because when you're on the incline, you have to go far back. So you're going far back, stretching, and then you're isolating at the top. Squeezing at the top, stretch, okay? So these are basically the 5 exercises that you're going to want to do, and then obviously abs as well. 5 exercises right here that you're going to want to focus on every single upper body day. You might need to switch it up, do a different split, but these are going to be the key exercises to do to develop your aesthetic physique and develop that ripped, shredded, lean look that you want right before summer. All right, so I broke down what to do in the gym, how to get an aesthetic physique, what kind of exercises, how you should train, what muscle groups you should be focusing on, and make sure you guys are doing that every single time you're in the gym. When you're hitting your upper body days, focus on upper chest, focus on wider back, focus on shoulders, focus on arms. Do forearms as well, okay? Traps, abs, do all of these things because those are going to get you an aesthetic physique and have you looking lean and ripped and shredded by summer, but also you're going to look different from everybody else because you train different from everybody else by doing these things right here, okay? So the second and the most important thing on this list is diet, okay? Diet literally makes up 50 to 60% of everything. Your energy levels, your mood, how you feel, how you look, right? Diet makes up of so much. And so if your diet is not locked in, it is going to show in your physique, in how you feel, in your mood, in your energy levels. So we want to lock in diet. But the first thing we want to do before we talk about what you should be eating is from now up until about mid-April, you want to be focusing on doing a slight bulk, okay? Now until mid-April, you want to be doing a slight bulk. Okay? Not too crazy. Nothing like 5, 6, 750 calories above your baseline, but you want to do about 250 to 300, I would say is a good one, or even like 200. Anywhere from like 200 to 300 is a good range. 150 to 300 is a good range for you guys before summer and before that mid-April time period, right? Our deadline and our goal, we want to have it by Memorial Day weekend, okay? We want to have that ripped, shredded physique by Memorial Day weekend because that is kind of the start to summer, right? That is kind of the summer, lift off right then. I know June 21st is officially summer, but Memorial Day weekend is a great kind of precursor before summer, right? And so Memorial Day weekend is usually late May. And so from mid-April to late May, we're going to do a slight cut, okay? We're not going too crazy here. We're just doing the right things in order for our physique to be the best it could possibly look, okay? So from mid-April to Memorial Day weekend, we are going to do a slight cut, right? Slight. Nothing too crazy, nothing too absurd. And it's going to be about, again, 200 to 300, 150 to 300 in a calorie deficit, okay? And the reason why you want to be doing this stuff is because when you're bulking and you're really putting on a lot of weight, like a pound a week, you're going to get fat in the face, right? You're going to get fat in the face. You're going to have more body fat, okay? And ultimately, that is very, very difficult for some people to get off, right? So you don't want to go too crazy with the bulk. We want to be doing a lean bulk of about 150 to 300 calories for both of these, okay? A caloric surplus and a caloric deficit of 150 to 300 for both of these, okay? We don't want to gain too much weight. We don't want to get too fat. We want to be able to put on muscle size and strength. And this is really a great range to be in if you're someone who wants to just add a little bit to their bench. If you're someone who wants to just add a little strength and size, this is a great surplus to be in because you're not going too crazy. You're not getting fat. You're not putting on too much weight. Your energy levels aren't dropping because you're eating so much food, right? You are eating the perfect amount to really add that size, strength, power, and also stay lean, stay shredded at the same time, okay? So this is what I am currently doing. 150 to 300 caloric surplus every single day, just a slight little bulk. And then once I get to about pretty much to April for me, because I live in a warmer climate, I'm going to start that slight cut. And when Memorial Day weekend comes around, I'm going to be lean, but I'm also going to have that muscle. I'm also going to have that size and strength that I've recently just developed, okay? So that is what you want to focus on, right? And if you don't know what your total daily energy expenditure is, because that is ultimately the number we're going off of, right? 150 to 300 calories is the number above your total daily energy expenditure. Calories is energy, and so what you want to do to figure out how much energy you're exerting every single day in the form of calories is you go online, go to a TDEE calculator, put in your age, your weight, your height, your activity level, and it'll give you a number of about what your daily caloric expenditure is, okay? Is it 100% accurate? No, I don't think so, okay? Mine was a little bit higher than what that was saying, which is fine. I'm an active guy, but you want to make sure that is accurate, and then you want to go up to this every single time. Now, what you should be eating to make this amazing is red meat, eggs, rice, and fruits. Okay? And the reason why you want to be eating these foods is because these foods are going to give you superpowers. I'm kidding. These foods are going to be the best in terms of testosterone levels. These foods are going to be the best in terms of lowering your cortisol and increasing your testosterone. These foods are going to be the best in micronutrients and vitamins and amino acids and all the things your body actually needs to function on an every single day basis. If you did not know, there's about 9 essential amino acids that your body just produces naturally, right? And then there's 11 amino acids your body needs to get from diet. And in the modern diet today, with processed foods, with BS foods, with a lot of people eating a lot of chicken, you are not getting a lot of those amino acids, and you're also not getting a lot of vitamins from those foods, right? Red meat, eggs is going to really, really have all of the amino acids, all of the vitamins, all of the things your body needs and your hormones need to optimize itself, to be at its highest rate, okay? So you have to focus on eating this diet right here. This is the best diet. And this is what is going to increase your energy levels, your mood levels, how you feel, how you look, your testosterone levels. Literally everything is going to be better from this. And this is called the vertical diet. If you have not heard of it, look it up online. There's a lot of studies, there's a lot of research around the vertical diet. And this is what I eat, right? And it's centered around red meat, eggs, rice, fruits, and then going on like a 10-minute digestion walk after you eat your bigger meals, okay? This is the best diet, okay? I'm telling you guys. I did the chicken, rice, broccoli, protein shakes diet, and it didn't get me anywhere. The most progress I made in the gym is in the last 6 months of me eating this diet exactly every single day, okay? When I was eating chicken, rice, broccoli, and protein shakes, I was not getting anywhere. But when I switched to this diet, how I looked changed, how I felt changed, my mood changed, my energy levels changed, right? My progress in the gym just sped up tenfold. Everything was so much better when I switched to this diet, right? You're going to eat food anyways, so it might as well be something that is going to get you the results and the thing that you want in the end of the day, which is the lean, ripped physique by summer, okay? So this is the most important thing, is eating this diet and then being consistent. The last step to getting shredded, to getting lean, to actually having the physique you want is lifestyle. Now, the reason why lifestyle is so important is because think about someone who is tan versus someone who is not tan. Who ultimately has a better physique? Even if they had the same muscles, even if they had the same training, the same diet, the same little everything, the same height, the same haircut, the same beard, if they had everything the same, the person who's tan is going to look better than the person who isn't tan, right? And when I was, shredded and lean and had this physique, the reason why I looked aesthetic is because I was tan. Like right now, I'm not tan, so I don't look as aesthetic as I did when I was tan on Memorial Day weekend, which is going to be you in about 5 months, okay, if you follow this. So the first thing when it comes to lifestyle is getting tan, but specifically getting sunlight for 30 minutes a day, okay? Now, you can tan 1 time a week, and that is going to be really good for increasing your testosterone and also to getting a better looking physique just by tanning. And so I'm going to write that down as well. But tanning 1 time a week for about an hour is one of the best things you can do to increase vitamin D, to have a better looking physique, right? If you did not know, sunlight and the sun in general is responsible for literally all energy levels on Earth. You get energy from the sun. You get energy just from looking at the sun, right? And so that makes the sun and vitamin D a pro hormone, meaning that your body is going to function at its highest peak when it has higher levels of vitamin D. So if you're not at least supplementing vitamin D, you should be getting at least 30 minutes of sunlight a day. Sunlight for 30 minutes a day and supplementing 4,000 IUs a day is going to be literally how you get a more aesthetic physique and how you increase your testosterone, right? A lot of testosterone levels are derived from your vitamin D levels, and if your vitamin D is low, your testosterone might be low as well, right? You could be doing everything else right, but if you don't have the vitamin D in check, you might have low testosterone. So you want to focus on getting a lot of sunlight. Natural sunlight is the best thing you can do. 30 minutes a day is just easy, right? When you wake up, during lunch, go for a walk and get some sun. Eat your lunch outside, right? After work, go outside and get some sun. So many different things you can do during the day to get sunlight. And then on the weekends, when it's sunny out, tan 1 time a week, right? That is going to be the best thing you can do to have a better physique, to have increased testosterone, to have more energy, is by getting into the sun and is by getting more vitamin D. The second thing that's going to be very, very essential for you guys is going to be walking for 30 minutes a day. And the reason why walking for 30 minutes a day is so essential and so important is because walking is a literal cheat code to getting shredded, to burning fat, right? When you are in a low level of activity range, so something, think of like walking, think of like grounding groceries, think of like, anything like that. Walking, low level, not too much intensity. You're not lifting weights. You're kind of just chilling. You're walking low levels of activity, right? When your body's in that low level activity state, it burns fat. Okay. It uses fat. Okay. When it is in higher activity level state, it uses carbohydrates, right? So you want to be focusing on walking a lot, and 30 minutes a day is going to be the best thing you can do to get more shredded. Also, walking is going to increase your metabolism, improve your cardiovascular health, right? Get you out into the sun, get vitamin D, lower your cortisol. Running has the opposite effect. It raises your cortisol. You might be getting outside and all that stuff is good, but if you actually want to have a shredded physique, walk more, right? Because when you're running, you're in a higher level of activity level, so you're not even burning fat. All you're doing is using your carbs and your glycogen stores instead of burning fat. You burn fat through walking, okay? So walking is one of the best things you can do to actually get shredded, to burn some of that fat. Walking for 30 minutes a day outside is what I recommend. A lot of you guys, you might want to be focusing on getting somewhere around 10,000 steps a day. So that might require you to do some more walking than 30 minutes a day. But if you're walking outside for 30 minutes a day, you're going to improve your cardiovascular health, lower your cortisol, get out in the sun, get vitamin D, improve your testosterone, boost your metabolism. Everything, burn fat, everything is so great when you're just walking a little bit. And what I would recommend for you guys to do is to do a 10-15 minute digestion walk. Typically, after you eat your meals, you're going to have more brain fog because you just ate a big meal. And so one of the best ways to combat that and to start the digestive process is to go on a quick 10 to 15 minute digestion walk, right? If you do that for your lunch and your dinner, right there, boom, you did your 30 minutes of walking, you got out into the sun, you got vitamin D, there you go. So digestion walk, and again, digestion walks are key to the vertical diet as well. So walking for 30 minutes a day, doing a digestion walk is going to be the best thing you can do to improve your testosterone levels, to burn more fat, to lower your cortisol, improve your cardiovascular health, boost metabolism. I said it about 5 times. So just walk, okay? Next thing you can do, and that is going to be key and very important for you guys, is sleep, okay? The average American is sleep deprived. The average American sleeps 5 to 7 hours a night, okay? And we want to be in bed with the lights off for 8.5 hours a day, okay? And the reason why is because sleep is such an important function, right? If your sleep is off, your cortisol is going to be high. And when your cortisol is high, your testosterone is going to be low. Okay, so you want to prioritize and focus on having lower cortisol and higher testosterone. And one of the best ways you can do that is through rest and recover. That is how you lower your cortisol levels, is through rest and recover. When you're in the gym, your cortisol is actually a little bit higher. But when you're outside the gym, lower your cortisol, make sure you're getting sleep in bed for 8.5 hours. And then additionally, when you're getting deep in REM sleep, that is when your body actually produces testosterone. And a lot of you guys who are sleeping 5 to 7 hours, you're not getting any deep in REM sleep, especially if you're drinking alcohol, if you're smoking weed, you're not getting REM sleep. So being in bed for 8.5 hours is the best thing you can do, right? That is just time in bed, no phone, no lights. You are like you are sleeping, okay? So being in bed 8.5 hours every single day, you're going to produce more testosterone, you're going to lower your cortisol, you're going to have additional rest and recovery, which is going to allow your muscles to grow back stronger, right? So many functions and so many bad things occur because people don't get enough sleep. Cardiovascular diseases, right? Any other diseases, lower testosterone, higher cortisol, all of these things come from sleep deprivation. So highly recommend you guys do this 8.5 hours every single day. And if you have some struggles with going to sleep, what you can do is 30 minutes before bed, set an alarm on your phone so you know that is the time to not look at your phone anymore, to start to turn off the lights, to start to wind down, to read, whatever your nighttime routine is, but be off your phone 30 minutes before bed and then be asleep the rest of that time, okay? So this is exactly what you guys need to do to get ripped, to get shredded, to get high test by summer, okay? You have 5 months. Memorial Day weekend is basically 5 months away. I think it's almost exactly 5 months away. So May 25th, May 26th is typically Memorial Day weekend. At least it was last year. And so if you want to get shredded, lean, diced before that time, follow these 3 steps, follow these 9 steps right here, and you will get to that point. Again, it is your man, Tyler James. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the video below. I will see you guys on the next one. And if you would like some one-on-one coaching to take your physique, to take your mindset, to take everything to the next level, click the link in the bio. Let's set up a one-on-one call. Peace.
Oh.